Hello there and welcome to The Probe. 17 political parties are on the brink of collapse. Tonight, the Electoral Commission says it intends to invoke Section 15(3)(c) of the Political Parties Act 2000, Act 574, which actually mandates the Electoral Commission to cancel the registration of political parties which do not have offices at national and regional levels. Well, some experts have raised concerns that given the long-held duopoly between the NDC and the governing New Patriotic Party, a revocation of these licenses for the 17 political parties will not augur well for Ghana's multi-party democracy. Well, tonight on The Probe, we hear from some of the affected political establishments as we collectively unpack the challenges confronting the lesser-known political party in Ghana's democracy. Be a part of The Probe tonight. As always, is live on the Joy News channel, Joy 99.7 FM, and also myjoyonline.com, DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. Feel free to be a part of the show. Be interactive on social media, on Twitter and on Facebook at Joy News on TV. I am Blessed Sugan, and welcome once again to The Probe. And you're welcome back to The Probe. Now, for those of you listening to us on Joy 99.7 FM, you're welcome. Those on TV as well, it's the Joy News channel and all our affiliates across the country. And let me start off by introducing my guest on The Probe tonight. Nana Ejeni Boateng is leader of the United Front Party, UFP. We also do have in studio with us Kwesi Bosomoru. He's founder of the People's Action Party, PAP. He's just returning from the United States and joining us right in studio to have a conversation on this. Kofi Akpaloo is also founder of the Liberals Party of Ghana, LPG. And to give us a scientific analysis on all of this, we're being joined by Dr. Essa Asante, political scientist with the University of Ghana. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here on The Probe. But I'd like to start off by welcoming Mr. Kwesi Bosomoru, who's joining us in studio right now. Good evening to you, sir, and welcome to The Probe.
Good evening, guys.
There are some of our viewers who say, well, I've never heard of the People's Action Party, PAP. I mean, since when did you come into existence? And do you consider yourself having a political party, so to speak?
Yes. Thanks for having me on your show, and my regards to all the listeners. Yes, PAP has been a party that was established around 2017, and I got my license May 2017 after fulfilling all the requirements by the Electoral Commission. For you to obtain that license, you need to have 2/3 of offices around the 275 constituencies and districts. So I was issued with this license, and I'm somebody who is very vocal, and I speak truth to power.
Right.
And I know that I was disqualified for the 2020 election because of my views against these two elite parties. And it's the same reason why they know their days are numbered. So they're trying very hard to make sure they get rid of some of these 17 so-called parties so that we don't even form an alliance to challenge them.
Mr. Bosomoru, let's not get into the motives for now.
Right.
I want us to know about your establishment. So 2017,
right.
That's where you started off from as a political party.
That's correct.
Registered under the laws. At the time you were registering your political party, are you able to tell the people of Ghana that indeed you were national in character as the Constitution requires?
Very much so, because EC send their delegates all over the country to check on all the offices, national, regional, district level, the founding fathers of the party. You know, I fulfilled all the requirements. That's why they were able to issue me with the license. You know, why they've come up with all these things about, we're going to revoke people's licenses is beyond me.
So at the time, how many offices were you operating as the PAP?
The PAP were operating 180 offices, which is almost like 3/4 of the requirements. You know, and it was a tedious. And I went.
And you have visible political party offices.
Yes,
you have that.
Yes,
you have evidence to back what you're telling us now.
Yes, they went there. They saw it themselves. That's why they certified the license and issued our party with that license. You know, and EC, they don't joke. When they say they will go and inspect, they will definitely go and inspect. You know, and. This evocation is all news to me because I've been away, and when I heard it, I just couldn't even believe it that they will go that length, you know. So PAP is here to stay. PAP is going to win the 2024 election.
We'll talk about your chances going into the next elections, but I want us to lay that basis so that our viewers can also follow the conversation. When was the last IPAC organized by the Electoral Commission? You may not have the date specific, but of course you have an idea of when last you engaged the Electoral Commission at the Inter-Party Advisory Committee level. If indeed you were part of that meeting, what were the interactions between yourself and the Electoral Commission regarding your license as a political party?
Okay, I went to the US around June, and the last time I went to the IPAC meeting was somewhere around May. And they came out with this thing about we have to, they're going to come around again to look at all the offices. We all came into agreement that even the so-called big parties, they don't even make that to the 3/4 of all the parties required, but they are still in operation. So why should there be one rule for these two big parties and another rule for the smaller parties?
Who would believe this claim that you're making? Because the NDC and
that's a good point.
Are big enough.
Right. I've been around the whole of the length and breadth of Ghana. I went with my executives in our cars, and I've been around every single corner where we have all our offices. And most of the time, I couldn't see any NDC or MPP offices, and the party thing is set up in such a way that when you go to any town or any city, you make sure that you rent your offices around where it's reasonably cheaper. And that's what we did. PPP, I saw their offices. You know, there are so many other parties too that I couldn't even see their offices around all these
regions. Are you
regions.
insinuating that there's favoritism in this process?
Oh, there is, most definitely. People that are aligned with the ruling party, they get to stay within the party, multi-party system.
Well, and you're not the only one joining the conversation, so let me bring in Mr. Kofi Apawu as well. Mr. Apawu, welcome to the probe. And Dr. Asa Asante is also on with us, so he'll be sharing his view with us shortly. We'll get all of that shortly. But I want to hear from you, Mr. Apawu, yourself, because you have an interesting story. The older political party you formed, which has got to do with, correct me with the name, National Reform, or what's the exact name, Mr. Apawu? You had earlier established a political party. That party is being revoked in terms of its license. But then you are keeping your LPG, which is the Liberal Party of Ghana. That's your story, correct?
No. Our party has been LPG. Before it was IPP, Independent People's Party. And 2017, we changed the name from IPP to LPG. And so that's it. We are LPG, Liberal Party of Ghana, the only Liberal Party in Ghana at the moment.
Looking at the directive coming through from the Electoral Commission, the belief is that some of your contemporaries, and I'm using that advisedly in terms of the political parties that were formed around the same time, you also was formed on the brink, and that the EC would have to grant some amnesty. What's your take on the enforcement proper of this Political Parties Act, Section 15.3, as the EC is talking to us about?
In fact, it's long overdue. You see, the EC, I think we have to applaud this new EC. they are actually doing the work of the Electoral Commission. Since they took office, they've been asking us to make sure every year, as a party, you file your audited accounts. And now they've come back to crack the whip by asking us to have offices across. You see, if you look at the electoral laws, you see that, or the political party act, you see that Section 15 talks about a party must have at least head office and regional offices. Sometimes we all talk about days to tests or whatever of the.
Mr. Apawu, are you still with us? It appears we've lost Mr. Kofi Apawu there. But of course, Dr. Asante is also with us. He's a political scientist with the University of Ghana. But Mr. Apawu, we lost you briefly on the point you're making. You were just about establishing the fact that 2/3 is the threshold and that all political parties must abide by that directive.
Yeah, if you look at the Section 15 of the law, or the act, it's talking about the fact that we should have at least your original offices and then your national headquarters. When you have them, the EC may, if you don't have them, that's where the EC will have a problem with you. It's not talking about having offices in the 2/3 of the districts, no. But when you have your national headquarters, at least you should have this or the regional offices. Having 16 regional offices shouldn't be a problem for a political party. If you are serious as a political party, you should have offices in every region. Because if somebody wants to join the party, he wants to reach you, how will the person get access to you? And if you are serious and you want to win power, you should be all over. You should be everywhere, at least in all the regions. You should be there so that people can easily locate you. So, it's for our own good as a political party to have offices. If you don't have offices, I don't think you are serious that you want to contest an election.
Okay, so you feel that it's simply the case that your colleagues who have other lesser-known political parties are not being serious in expanding. But how about the issue about, funding? Monetary terms. It's been a challenge for some of the emerging political parties, you agree?
Yes. I know the situation on the ground that is very difficult. It's very tough at the moment for everyone. Even going for offices, paying for the rent. Over here, they'll be asking you to pay 3 years advance and all those kind of stuff. So I think it's very tough for parties at the moment. But as a party, you cannot run a party only by yourself. You need a team to work with. You have to involve other people in the party because it cannot be only you. So once you get other people in the party, they will contribute in kind and in cash to enable the party to grow.
And I want to, at this point, hear from Dr. Emefa Apawu, a political scientist with the University of Ghana. Doc, thank you so much for your time here on The Probe. So here's the case. We may be losing 17 political parties. That will leave us with 10 based on the records of the Electoral Commission. 27 of them is what they have on their books right now. But by Thursday, the deadline will be over, which means that all these political parties, 17 of them, may be gone. From where you sit and looking at the concept of multi-party democracy, do you feel that this is a good sign for us as a country?
Exercise is being long overdue because democracy is anchored on rule of law. There are rules governing the game of election and politics in general. So if you want to be a player, you need to abide by the rules of the game. That's all. The laws of this land require political parties to meet certain requirements. And over the years, political parties have failed, some of them, of course, have failed to meet those requirements. So it is a joy on my part to hear Electoral Commission now cracking the whip and then bringing everybody to line. Yes. Democracy, yes, even though political parties are important actors in democracy, they must play according to the rules. So if they decide that they will not, I don't have mercy on them when the electoral management body want to whip them to line. It is done everywhere. And for democracy to survive, we need such decisions to be taken. Though it's tough, but it should happen.
If you take a look at the political cost in our country as we speak, you do agree, Doc, that obviously some financial challenges may be accounting for a reason why some of these lesser known political parties are not being able to expand across the country.
Then it means you fail to exist. All right. The minimum threshold, if you cannot meet, then I don't see why you must be entertained within the sphere of politics. No. It is a decision that when you are taking, even if you don't have resources and you want to pay, you need to organize yourself very well so that you can come in. You cannot come in and then, hide behind the excuse that you don't have resources. The minimum, this is the minimum that they have to do. They must be visible in a number of, constituencies. They must be able to submit regular accounts every time we go for elections and all that. And these things, if you don't have the resources, then it means you are not ready.
So how about helping or bailing out these parties? Would you ask that we extend the deadline beyond Thursday, at least so as to make room for these parties to try and get things right?
If they extend the deadline, fine. It can be definitely an administrative decision. They can do that. But definitely a day will come that the door will be shut on them. So it can't be forever. They can give you a day or two respite. But let us remember that the EC will definitely shut the door.
Okay. And Doc, you'd have to stay with us briefly. A lot of signs that Mr. Busumuru does not agree with you in terms of some of the points you're making. And of course, Mr. Busumuru, you've heard from the likes of the LPG. They say that if you're really serious about being a political party, then of course you must be ready for the cost as well. I need to first of all find out from you, what you hold now, is it a provisional certificate or you're a fully fledged political party?
I am a fully fledged political party.
You have certificates to back that?
Yes. And I was listening to Kofi Apawu just now. Right. And Kofi Apawu only has one office here and another office in Ashanti region.
Well, that's your word against it. He's right here.
So he is always aligned with the ruling government.
Is it fair for you to go?
No. Kofi Apawu is my buddy, and I will always speak to the truth. He's my buddy, So he can say whatever he wants to say about. You need to have the funds. Yes. Look, the good thing is we have Thursday as deadline. I'm back in the country. I have all my documents ready. I have all the offices and the executives in all the regions ready. So I'm going to engage the EC tomorrow, and they can send their reps back to all these offices. And they will get to know that I'm a fully fledged party and we are running for the 2024 election.
That's why I'm asking about the difference, because in the law, there's a provisional certificate and there's supposed to be the gazette.
Yes.
Do you have that?
I've been gazetted, I have everything. And when they gave me my license, it was all over in the news. It was all over in the news. I have a full, I wish I did I was going to bring it, but I couldn't get to the office. I was going to bring it with me.
When the Electoral Commission was carrying out its audit, where was the PAP and its leadership? Because if you look at the law, somewhere in Article 55, you are even supposed to provide a clear address, right,
party,
of not just of the party, but even your national, some of your national offices. It's required that you're supposed to.
Which we did. We had a blue book. They will give you a blue book to go out there and get all these endorsements, and they'll give you another book where all your offices and everything with all the addresses in there. So when you come back to the EC, you hand in those books, right? And that's when they do all the checks on all the addresses and all the endorsements. Then they sit together and certify you as a political
And
party.
that's why I'm asking that critical question as to where you were all this while when the EC was carrying out the audit. Because clearly you would have been aware that the chairperson was going around visiting political parties. The last one I saw personally was the EC chair visiting the office of the CPP.
Right.
With even pictures to that. Where were you as national leadership of PAP? You were dormant, right?
No,
Sleeping on the job?
I wasn't sleeping on the job. I was out of the country, and I asked my auditor to get all these things done. He got it done, and he has to travel out of the country. So everything was handed back to the general secretary, who had to have an operation, and he was in the hospital for like almost 3 months. You know,
so the EC was not able to reach any of your national leadership?
They spoke to a whole lot of them in Western region, Upper East, Upper West, that the EC wanted to come over, and I said, hey, let them come. You know, so the audit part of it, like the accounts auditing, I haven't submitted it because I have all of them with my auditor, which I'm going to submit all of them tomorrow morning.
Also, you're heading to the EC headquarters tomorrow?
First thing tomorrow morning. Yes. Yes. Yes, there are rules and regulations for everything, even in academia, in soccer, in everything, right? Now, Professor is talking about, yes, if you don't have the money, we shouldn't entertain you. That makes sense, but I have the offices, I've met all the requirements, I have my licenses. Where they're coming out with all these things is beyond me. But the good thing is, I have a deadline, Thursday deadline. I will make sure that I will not be part of the 17 parties that they want to expunge from their list.
2/3, that's the threshold.
Right.
Have you gotten in touch with your base? I mean, your constituency and regional leadership? Because truly the argument is, if they were indeed present and the Electoral Commission was doing its independent audit of your offices, they would have found your visible offices. In fact, you're going ahead, for instance, to accuse the NDC and the NPP of not having offices across the country.
Of course,
yes.
They don't make that to test true.
No, I mean, that's a claim. Many will say you're not serious on that point. But
I am very serious on this.
That's debatable.
Because I didn't send people on the ground to go and get all these offices. I went there myself. We spent 3 weeks on the road getting all these offices and with executives, regional, district level. We've done everything. That's why we got the license. That's why we got the license. All this thing about, they want to revoke 17 political parties. You know, they know their game is up. These two big parties, they know their game is up. So they're coming out with stories.
I mean, why should this be about the NDC and the PP? I mean, these are political parties that, going by statistics,
with the EC,
have more following than your political party.
When we went to the last IPAC meeting, right, we all agree on all these reforms about this Article 15, that we should bring all the account details, they will come to the offices. We all agree to that, you know? And I have no problems with that because I know I have all my offices around the country.
Let me put it this way. For instance, if we go to the Ashanti region, where will we find the PAP office?
Right after St. Louis High School, right? You go over the bridge, the first road on your right, that's where the PAP office is. And I've rented it for 4 years.
In the north?
In the north, we have, you see, what we did in the north is, most of our offices is in the Zonga areas because the rent is much cheaper.
So you're in the, say upper west?
Upper west, upper east,
where are you?
So we always target the Zonga areas.
So you agree you are not in all parts of the northern region, I mean the northern parts of the country?
In the northern region, right, we have 8 offices there, the northern part of the country. Upper east, upper west, and all the others, right?
Mr. Busumur, you see how you're struggling at
I'm not struggling. I went myself with them.
Have all the offices.
We have offices, 8 offices. We were supposed to have about, I think, 12, right? So we did the 8. We came to Ashanti region, which was a whole lot of offices. That's why even our head office, we used Odium because Odium was much cheaper, right? And we used Anglican. There's another office behind the Anglican St. Cyprian's Church. That was my mom's shop. She's no more, so I used that as my office. And when you come to Accra, Spintex, I've used my own house in Spintex as our head office. You know, we used to be at Kissiman as the head office, and I've moved the office into Spintex, into even a bigger place. You know, so all this noise about, oh, if you don't have the money, they should throw you out. You know,
the belief is that you, the lesser known political parties, should own up, first of all, acknowledge your sins, quote and unquote, so we can move on and have the conversation around funding our political parties through the use of state resources. Why are you not welcoming that discourse rather than going on this coalition course with the Electoral Commission?
I don't believe in the state funding political parties because the state is in trouble as it is. We don't have the means to fund any political party. So if you think you have what it takes to be a leader or, you know, of this country and you form your own party, you have to deal with everything that is thrown at you, especially from the EC and from the Constitution. You know, all these things is an act of parliament, okay? So when you have this, the political elite in parliament, and when we did the IPAC meeting, the last time we did the IPAC meeting, they said, okay, they've agreed on everything that we've come out with, but they have to take it to parliament for approval, right? So they went there, and even Jimensa at that time said, she has this belief that Parliament will make sure they get rid of some of these parties. She said it at the IPAC meeting.
She told you the political parties?
Some of these, no, she didn't mention. She said, some of you, if you don't, we go and you don't have even regional offices. You know, she was a bit lenient that you don't need to have the 2 tiers, but make sure all the regional offices, you have them. You know, which I do. You know, so all these things about, oh, let's get rid of them because they're going to get in our way 2024 does not make sense to me because they know their time is up and no Ghanaian is going to vote for
I see that you're very much interested in 2024. We'll talk about that shortly. But Mr. Apawu, the issue of the funding of, lesser known political parties by the state, is that an idea that we should be looking at right now?
Honestly, from where I have lived, in the Republic of Ireland, for instance, political parties get support from the state. It would be an ideal where the state support political parties in managing its day-to-day affairs, not to support them to campaign. But, you see, the political party is a property of the state. People should get this clear. It's not an individual's property. Is for the state. So if you form the party, it becomes the state property and anybody can join the party.
Parties, Kofi, I'm sorry, it's not for the state. PAP, I am the founder of PAP. It doesn't belong to the state.
Yeah, but I mean,
most places in the world, in the United States, in the UK.
But he's talking about the construct of the law.
No, they are the governing, the state is the governing entity of all those parties. But my party does not belong to the state. If it belonged to the state will be the one that the EC will pull up and say, hey, these PAP people, they're not doing well, they don't have enough offices, so they will deal with the state. Now they're dealing with me because it's my own party. I founded the party. It's not the state. And I don't believe that we should allow the state. Look, we don't even have money for offices and schools and hospitals, and you want the state to fund your own party? No.
Mr. Apawu, your take?
Yeah, you see, that's my understanding. That it's like even like a church which is registered as limited by guarantee without shareholding, belongs to the state, and then they qualify for charity status. So that's why when you register that way, you are not supposed to be taxed.
So you are welcoming the whole idea that indeed we should be moving towards a position where some budget or budgetary allocation should be made to all these political parties, if not lesser known, I mean every single political party. Is that what you're welcoming?
Yeah, all political parties. Who is the owner of NPP? Who is the owner of NDC?
It's a group of people.
You
Founders.
see, so because it's a new party and you've just registered, and maybe you are the only person in the party, so that's why you call it it's your property. But the moment it becomes everybody contributing, paying dues and whatsoever, everybody wants it.
That's correct.
You see, so please, yeah, you need to understand this. Open your party, allow other people to come in, contribute, and then support the party so that the party is able to.
So let's go a bit personal here. As the LPG, how do you raise funds for your party activities? For instance, how much dues do you charge your members? I'm interested in knowing that.
Good question.
Oh yeah, our members, if you are joining the party, you pay 50 cedis to join the party.
So
And
they are
every
paying
month-
15 Ghana cedis for the whole year?
50.
What's the breakdown?
50.
No, for joining the party, you pay 50 cedis to become a member, to hold a membership card. And then every month you pay 10 cedis as dues. But when we are doing certain programs, we ask people to donate and contribute if they can. You understand? So, but as a member of the party, you are supposed to pay 10 Ghana cedis every month.
10 Ghana cedis every month. So on the average, in 12 months, you should be paying, say, 120 Ghana cedis. What's the membership of your party like in terms of the membership?
At the moment, as I'm talking to you, if you check on our website, that's liberalpartyofghana.org. If you go there, you can get the statistics because every day people.
Yeah, but this is your political party, Mr. Apawu. This is your political party. You have a sense.
You see, when you when you go online, we'll have the statistics on our website. So it's the liberalpartyofghana.org. So I want you to quickly log on to the website and then come out and tell
I get that. Yes, but I'm asking that question. I'm asking the question because you agree that knowing that your political party is relatively new, you may not have significant followings such as the NDC, the NPP, for you to raise enough money to run your political activities. For instance, the last CDD survey is putting the cost of running for president at $1 million or $100 million. That's the last CDD survey. Where are you going to get $100 million from as the LPG for you to become president? You want to be president of this country.
Yeah, from where we are at the moment, as I'm talking with you, you can ask your Northeast regional correspondent. We just finished our regional conference at the Northeast, where all the 6 constituencies came with their numbers, their executives, and then the regional executives as well. We just finished, just some few hours ago, it's about an hour ago, probably. We had it at Nalerigo Senior High School. We just finished. So, you see, we finished one last week at Savannah.
Yeah, but Mr. Apawu, my question is very direct, I guess.
No, let me finish.
Yeah.
I will tell you. And then we did one at Bono, Shani, that's on 18th of September. Next week, Sunday, we are doing the Northern region. And then every Sunday, we follow.
Okay. Mr. Apawu, I guess I need to be more precise. Yes.
I'm coming.
Right.
It's not everything that you use money to do. You need people to get committed, to go out there and preach the gospel and explain the policies of the party to people. It's not everything. When you see people using big money, do certain things, we may not use that big money to do it, but we will achieve the same result.
Okay, so let's do this. Mr. Apawu, just hold on for me briefly. You asked us to check your website. We have that on the screens right now, and I just want to bring the numbers up for us to consider. 294,673 members. That's all you have. In fact, that's equivalent to one constituency. You can go into Dome Kobenya, I guess, more than twice or 3 times if we are to go by that number. And you have 275 constituencies, you're in 16 regions, and 1,834 executives. So if you calculate, for instance, your annual dues. That's bringing us to some 35,360,760 Ghana cedis. So if I strike that by 4, you're nowhere close to that $100 million that you need to become president. So your dreams are far away. I mean, far away in the future.
No, that is the orthodox way of doing politics.
Oh, really? But you asked me to go onto your site, isn't it?
No, I'm talking about CDD report that you are relying on, that you need $100 million to achieve that. I can tell you, you don't need $100 million whatsoever to achieve winning an election in Ghana. It's a matter of keen strategically and working harder and getting to the people like we are doing now. You see, all the other smaller parties, you can't find them in the districts, in the constituencies. But LPG, we are making sure we are getting to every home, every corner of the country, simply because we believe in hard work, we believe in doing the footwork. It's not everything that you use money to do it, you understand? So when you sit in Accra and thinking that because you can speak, you can have access on radio and television, people are going to vote for you. No, you are just a joker. You need to go out there, talk to the people one-on-one, explain your policies to them, and then the people will now buy into you and then give you the opportunity to serve them. I can tell you confidently that 2024 election is not going to be the same because MPP just finished their elections, their internal elections up to national, and then NDC is also following. MPG, they're also following, they're also doing the same thing. It's a matter of getting the executives across the country, making sure they are all working for the party.
Okay.
And if they are all working for the party, we achieve the same result.
Okay,
like
so let's hear from Dr. Asante. Of course, he has expertise into this area. And Doc, the issue about funding of our political parties, $100 million for someone who wants to become president, I guess it's somewhere around $40,000 for those who want to become MPs. That's how much is involved. Looking at this survey, juxtaposing that to how the lesser-known political parties are struggling, what's your take on trying to formulate a law that would either open up for foreign investment into our political parties or, having state funding?
This conversation, we have abandoned it for a very long time. That is funding of political parties. It's very, very important. We started off somewhere in 1993, thereabout, and we abandoned it. I think it's about time we went to the drawing board and see what we can make out of this, because it is one of the surest ways by which we can look at how political parties fund themselves, and then we see how we can also control issues of corruption that are associated with election and election-related issues. So I think if we want to bring that conversation back, fine. But we need funding for political parties because as of now, even though the law spells out how it ought to be done, you and I believe that there is more to it that the state is supposed to know. But the actors within the political sphere are not ready to share information with that. So we have to take the conversation to them and then bring everybody in line, and then we discuss and find ways of funding political parties.
Generally, are there some dangers to that process? Of having state funding.
That people who fund political parties eventually turn out to be albatross around their neck. There are those who go for contracts as the party win power, and then that's where corruption starts and all that. So it's one surest way by which we can also deal with corruption head on, that the funding of political parties. Another thing is that it also allows the political landscape to be even, so as to enable those who have the political wherewithal to compete for elections. So I think it is a critical component of our electoral system which we cannot ignore.
Doc, I want to butt in a little bit. About the funding, I don't believe in funding. I believe that you even spoke about corruption in, funding and election. I believe in capping how much an individual can donate to a party, just like they have in the United States, where you cannot donate, one individual cannot donate more than $2,300 to a party. You know, so until we have something like that in place, this 100 million thing brings nothing but corruption, because the ruling party will make sure they have enough money that's supposed to go to like healthcare and roads and other stuff, and their dues from the parties to, you know, buy motorbikes, bicycles, cars for people just to vote for them.
But
you
in your case, do you have a financier? Do you have a financier for your political party?
I funded my own party, and I spent over $200,000 from 2017 till when I was disqualified in 2020.
That's how much you pumped into it?
Yes, because having all these offices is no joke. And have all my records, all the accounts from
$200,000 US.
US dollars, yes.
And that did not get you anywhere?
That's when I got, just as I was making inroads, for some reason they saw this guy as a threat. Oh, let's get rid of him. And they did, you know? So I believe in cap on financial contribution to parties. That will really help the smaller parties to make inroads.
Okay, so let's take Doc's opinion on that. Doc, what, are you seeing that to be the best way out in terms of putting a cap on it, how much you can donate to a political party?
If you look at other jurisdictions such as the United States and all that, we have that thing there. But is it a case that we can implement it here? Right? You can cap it. Fine. If that is the way you want to go, it's fine. Because then you must have the architecture to support it. In the U.S., when you cross the threshold, you are going to jail. When you contribute, your name will be published online, everybody would know, so that the next time when your party wins power and a contract is given to you, we can trace and get a connection and all that. If that is the route we want to take, fine. But in all these things, we need strong institutions in there to support this cause. All right. Otherwise,
are you by this arguing that, for instance, the EC does not have the sufficient structures to implement or perhaps enforce that?
Oh, where are the institutions? The institutions are the rules, the regulations, and their enforcement. Look at how long it has taken the EC to crack the whip as to issues relating to whether parties are able to meet the legal requirements on the land. It has taken them, a whole lot of years. And this is a manifestation of a weak institution, all right? The rules, the procedures, the processes must be followed strictly, all right? What are we doing here, all right? So if we want to, get on that route, then we need to up our game. Elections are governed by rules. Without them, we don't have a democracy. So as students of politics, we are always interested, not only in the process, but how do you maintain it? How do you sustain the whole process? That is it, so that people will not have any funny views about the system. As soon as people begin to have doubts about the political system, it jeopardizes the whole electoral process. And it throws the whole election, which is ahead, into chaos.
Mr. Apawu, where do you get money from to run for the race to become president? At least you've been on the ballot before.
I know where Kofi gets his money from the MPP.
That's your claim. Let's allow Mr. Apawu to answer the question himself. Mr. Apawu, if you're with us, I'm just asking about where you get your funding from to run for president. Kofi Apawu, are you with us?
People.
Yes.
No, it's from the party people. The party membership, they contribute to help us.
So in the last elections, for instance, how much did your party delegates, you have over 1,000 executives and over 290,000 constituents, followers. How much did they give you to run for president?
Oh, some donated 500 cedis, some donated 1,000 cedis, some 600, depending on their ability. So we raise the money from them.
But the math does not add up, because when they send us to even go for the endorsements, For 1 week, they gave us 1 week to go out there to get endorsements from constituencies and districts. That 1 week alone, it was just 6 days. I spent 70,000 cedis traveling around the whole Ghana to get 2 people in each constituency to endorse this party. So your math does not add up that you were funded, solely funded by the members, dues, and all other stuff. That one, I'm not buying that.
No, because you will not buy into this, because you don't have the membership. If you have the membership, you just send them emails, and they will just fill it, and then give it to Car, and you get to you in Accra.
Okay, so Mr. Apawu, for instance, just go ahead. Yes, go ahead for me.
Yeah, because you didn't have membership. That's how things are. Because you spend 70,000 to do this. This will cost you only 1,000 cedis to get all these things done. All that you have to do is to elect your membership in the regions, and then to send them WhatsApp or email. They'll print it out. They get their members to sign and give it to a commercial card. You just pick it as a cycle. You see, this is just simple. You don't need to spend that 70,000. Why should you spend 70,000? I'm an accountant.
I spoke to
Kofi. But so Mr. Apawu, on your own, how much did you contribute, for instance, add up to the figure, just to run for person?
Please, that one is my personal. I cannot tell you.
All right.
For that one, I cannot disclose. Yeah.
I see. But there's this question that I want to put to all of you, and I'll start off with you, Mr. Sumuru. You keep attacking the NDC and the NPP, but many say you form these political parties. You know very well that you're not going to win any elections in the Republic of Ghana. Why do you keep forming new political parties? Why not join the very established ones, NDC, NPP?
Brilliant question. I don't follow losers. MDC and MPP, since 1992, they've been nothing but losers. They're corrupt.
They keep winning elections.
Yes. How did they win the elections? Through corrupt means. With EC as a puppet being moved around.
But you don't have any evidence, right?
I do have evidence. If somebody disqualifies you for speaking the truth about government, right? And they tell you, hey, you are disqualified because somebody from Ga East, 2 people from Ga East did not endorse you. I live in Ga East. My wife lives in Ga East. So what happened to our names? What happened to our names? Do you understand my point? I live in Ga East. My wife lives in Ga East.
You seem to be very bitter about your disqualification, and perhaps that's why you're going on this tangent of
you ask Kofi Apawu how many times was he disqualified before he managed to get through for the 2020 election? About twice. Okay? So the thing he's talking about, you don't need to spend 70,000. Yes, I don't have the numbers. That's why I have to go on the ground myself with my crew. We split up into north, south, east, and west, and we managed to get all the endorsement.
But if indeed he was disqualified,
Ga East, because you didn't get people to endorse you in Ga East, and I live in Ga East.
Yeah.
My wife lives in Ga East. My children live in Ga East. So I couldn't even get them to endorse my paper.
Yeah, but Mr. Busumuru, if indeed it is the case that Mr. Apawu, for instance, as you're saying, is being favored,
right?
He was disqualified twice. That's enough evidence.
That was under the NDC government. He was under the NDC government.
Are you then suggesting that these 2 political parties are in control?
When they see that you are a threat, they will make sure. They appointed the EC. That's why I believe that
But the Constitution says that the commissioner is supposed to be independent.
That's why that's it. It was supposed to be independent. But once you appoint somebody to be head of a whole EC, you can tell them what to do and what they shouldn't do. Do you see an NDC member as member of the EC?
Are you mindful that by making the statement you'll be meeting the same commissioners before Thursday?
Oh, they know me. When I was going for my license, they used to tell me, oh, come tomorrow, come. And I sat down with Tete, and I said, I'm not one of those people that you can count. When they come here, you talk down. He didn't even ask me to sit down. And I gave him my peace of mind. And guess what? 2 days later, I got my certificate.
So you're sure that you're deploying that strategy?
Oh, no. I will go there and present my case.
Tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow.
What are you taking there?
I have all the accounts, the auditor's account, and all the addresses to the offices, and that's it. Then I'll have a dialogue with them.
Okay. And Mr. Apawu, the same question goes to you. Why you form these political parties, knowing that, I mean, you may never win elections?
I'm optimistic that I'm going to be president of this country.
That's it.
So I'm doing the needful. The needful is to get to the people you work with, you are going to campaign for you, and they are going to get you the numbers. So I know I'm putting my plans in order, and I'm working according to my plan, and it's working for me. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to respond to all those attacks by saying, MPP, NDC. I don't have the time for that because you see, when you're a serious political party, I don't see MPP and NDC existing. I see Ghanaians ready to vote for an alternative, and I'm providing that alternative. So that's what I'm doing, and I don't have anybody's time to be pulling me back by saying this or necessary accusations here and there. It's a matter of putting your house in order, get your work done properly, and then you have a proper structures in place. You cannot run a political party just only by yourself. You need a team. It's a teamwork. So if you don't have a teamwork, how do you win an election? So you have to put proper structures. Every constituency, your presence must be felt. Every region, your presence must be felt. And when you are able to do that, then you can say you are competing with MPP and NDC. Other than that, it will be rhetoric. You'll be sitting somewhere and you'll be shouting. Now, you see, when you are there accusing the EC for disqualifying you, but you didn't do the right thing. And brother, go back or come to people like us. Then we'll show you how to do it and do it well. Because I started...
You were disqualified twice. MPP came to office. You're always licking their boots. You had them contract.
I guess you're not being fair to Mr. Apawu then.
So
by saying
he's telling me, right?
Okay, so
I need to be organized.
Gentlemen, let's hold on. Let's hold on at this point.
If I haven't organized my house,
I know this could get a bit personal, but it's just...
It's not personal.
So okay,
I'm speaking to the truth.
But let me bring in Dr. Asante.
It's not personal.
Because we don't have all of the time, the way forward and what you feel the EC should be doing to these political parties.
One, is that they should continue the decision to crack the whip. I support that. It's the way to go. Let us remember that the fewer, the better the democracy.
Nope.
Why am I saying that? Oh, yes.
Nope.
If you look at the... Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, Doc.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. If I'm saying that the EC should continue with its program, those who don't meet the requirement, they should just delete their names from the book. It's very simple. Democracy is practiced using rules and regulations. Two, let us also, the question you posed to them, why they set up those parties, they think that they will win the election, very interesting. Research has shown that since 1992, all the minor political parties put together, their effort have not gone beyond 4%.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Hello?
Doc, not beyond 4%, you say?
Yes, it's true.
Yes, they've never gone beyond 4%.
Last election, 2.9.
So for me, it will not happen that any of the smaller parties will win power in the foreseeable future. No, unless miracle.
I'm sorry, Doc, you're entitled to your opinion. But let me tell you, on the ground, Ghanaians are fed up with these two
finish my
parties.
submission. When you were talking, I did not
so let him land, and then you can...
I'm saying that it is empirically proven that all the parties their effort put together have not gone beyond 4% since 1992. So I'm wondering what magic that they have under their sleeves to, change the status quo. It will not happen, not in the distant future. That I can say without fear of contradiction. Two or three, that the way forward is that the parties must build capacity to be able to strengthen their activities and build very strong institutions that will support them. But for a very long time, we are going to see NDC and MPP winning power and form the next government.
All right.
That's his opinion.
All that they need to do also is to abide by the rules of the game if they want to stay afloat. Otherwise, the system will have to sweep them. That the forces of democracy.
Right, thank you. Just 30 seconds for you, Mr. Busumuru, and then we wrap up.
Well, it's been a very good conversation, but my take on all these things is Doc made submission that
You may not win in the foreseeable
the smaller parties would never win. I'm surprised
Not in
that
the foreseeable future.
I'm surprised that a doctor of political science would generalize.
No, but he's basing that on science. He's basing that on
what?
science.
What, the
He says
2.9%?
you've not gone beyond the 4%.
Yes,
I mean, these are
guess
facts
what?
and figures.
Times have changed. Times have changed. This country is collapsed. It's on its knees.
So you are becoming president in the next elections?
That's why we are bringing one district, one factory, one prison, to make sure that wherever our money, everything is, how these people from 92 till now, the economy is collapsed. That's where I will chase all those people for our money.
One district?
One prison.
Okay. Mr. Apawu, I'm sorry, we can't give you the final word on this, but I'm grateful to Kofi Apawu with the LPG. Kwesi Busumuru is the founder of the PAP, and Dr. Asa Asante is a political scientist with the University of Ghana. My name is Blessed Sugai, and don't forget to log on to myjoyonline.com. This has been The Probe. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for being